Chosen one, have you ever felt like you're living someone else's life? Like you're trapped in a story that was never meant for you? Like every door you approach slams shut just as your hand reaches for the handle? What if I told you that every rejection, every closed door, every moment you felt forgotten was actually God positioning you for Saturday? What if your deepest pain has been your greatest preparation? Listen to me carefully. By the time the sun sets this Saturday, something heaven wrote into your story decades ago will unfold. You've been walking toward this moment all your life, even when you didn't know it, even when you wanted to give up, even when you whispered in the dark, "God, have you forgotten my name?" He hasn't forgotten. He's been orchestrating. Why would the Almighty circle a date on his eternal calendar with your name written in blood-red ink? Why would he mark Saturday as the day when everything that seemed impossible becomes inevitable? Because you are not just anyone, chosen one. You carry something in your spirit that hell has been trying to kill and heaven has been preparing to release. Saturday isn't just another day on your calendar, it's your divine appointment with destiny. I can feel it in my spirit as I speak these words. There's someone watching right now whose soul is already stirring. Your chest is tightening. Your heart is racing. That's not anxiety, that's recognition. Your spirit recognizing the sound of its own calling. Before we go deeper into this sacred revelation, I want to pause and thank every single one of you who has supported this message through super thanks. Your generosity means more than you know. You're not just donating. You're helping spread light to others who feel alone in their calling. Whether you give or not, I'm deeply grateful for your presence here. Your support, your time, your attention, it all matters. And if this message resonates with your soul, go ahead and plant that seed of faith. But right now, if your spirit is already stirring, if something deep inside you just whispered, "This is for me," I need you to comment Saturday below. Don't scroll past this moment. Don't dismiss what you're feeling. That stirring in your chest is heaven calling your name. And stay with me until the very end, because I'm going to reveal the 3 confirmation signs you'll see before Saturday arrives. Signs that will prove beyond any doubt that this message was meant for you. The appointment has already been scheduled. Chosen one. The question isn't whether Saturday will come, it's whether you'll be ready to walk through the door when it opens. Your breakthrough isn't coming someday. It's coming Saturday. Are you ready to discover what God has been hiding in plain sight? Have you been waking up at 3:17 a.m. for no reason? Have strange memories from 40 years ago suddenly surfaced this week, crystal clear as if they happened yesterday? Have you felt an unexplainable peace wash over you during prayer, even though nothing in your circumstances has changed? Dear chosen one, these aren't coincidences. These are heaven's breadcrumbs. You see, for weeks now, maybe even months, God has been dropping subtle signals into your daily routine. That phone call from someone you hadn't heard from in decades. That song on the radio that made your spirit leap. That moment when you looked in the mirror and saw something different in your own eyes. Something awakening. You dismissed them, didn't you? Chalked them up to age, to nostalgia, to your mind playing tricks. But your spirit knew better. Your spirit has been stirring because Saturday has been casting its shadow across your path long before you understood what was coming. Think about Joseph for a moment. 13 years in prison. 13 years of wondering if God had forgotten him. 13 years of interpreting dreams for other prisoners while his own dreams seemed dead and buried. But here's what Joseph couldn't see from his cell every single day in that dungeon was preparation. Every disappointment was positioning. Every moment of feeling forgotten was actually God saying, "Not yet. You're not ready for the weight of what I'm about to place in your hands." Then one morning, Pharaoh had a dream. One morning, everything changed. Genesis 41-14 tells us, "So Pharaoh sent for Joseph, and he was quickly brought from the dungeon." Quickly brought. In hours, Joseph went from prisoner to prime minister, from forgotten to Pharaoh's right hand. But those 13 years weren't wasted time. They were sacred preparation for a Saturday moment that would save nations. You've been in your own prison, haven't you? The prison of feeling invisible at 75. The prison of watching your children live their lives without needing your wisdom. The prison of fixed income and fading relevance. The prison of wondering if your best years are truly behind you. But what if I told you that every single hardship you've survived has been a breadcrumb leading you here? Every economic crash you weathered, the recession of 2073, the market crash of 2087, the housing crisis of 2008, you didn't just survive them, you mastered the art of resilience. You learned to find hope when the world said there was none. Remember raising your children when money was tight and worry was heavy. You didn't just manage, you became a miracle worker. You stretched dollars like loaves and fishes. You found ways to make Christmas magical with $10 and pure love. You held families together when everything was falling apart. Those weren't struggles, chosen one. Those were your doctoral degree in faith under fire. You lived through the Cold War and learned that tomorrow isn't guaranteed. You witnessed Kennedy's assassination and discovered that heroes can fall but hope endures. You watched Armstrong walk on the moon and realized that impossible is just another word for God's about to show off. Every decade you've lived through has carved something sacred into your character. The war generation taught you sacrifice. The civil rights era showed you that change is possible. The technology boom proved that the world can transform overnight. And now, in your golden years, when society wants to put you on the shelf, heaven is saying, now you're ready. Now you understand. Now you can handle what I've been preparing for Saturday. You think your slow pace is weakness? No, it's wisdom refusing to rush past divine appointments. You think your need for quiet is limitation? No, it's your spirit creating space to hear what others are too busy to receive. You think your simple lifestyle is settling? No, it's the freedom that comes from knowing what truly matters. Every rejection letter from jobs you didn't get led you away from paths that would have trapped you. Every friendship that ended made room for connections that will matter on Saturday. Every dream that seemed to die was actually being buried, so it could resurrect at exactly the right moment. Your children think you've slowed down, but heaven knows you've been speeding up spiritually. While they chase careers, you've been chasing God's heart. While they accumulate things, you've been accumulating faith. While they build earthly kingdoms, you've been storing up treasures in heaven. This is why the build-up to Saturday feels different. This is why your spirit has been restless lately. This is why you've been having dreams that feel more real than your waking hours. Your soul recognizes what your mind hasn't fully grasped yet. You're approaching your divine appointment. The enemy tried to convince you that your season was over. He whispered lies about irrelevance, about being too old, about missing your chance. But Satan is a liar. He's been working overtime to keep you quiet because he knows what's coming on Saturday. He knows that when someone who has walked with God for 7, 8, 9 decades finally steps into their full assignment, hell itself trembles. Every hardship you've survived has been a breadcrumb leading you here. Every tear you've cried has watered the ground for Saturday's harvest. Every prayer you've whispered into the darkness has been building pressure in the spiritual realm, and that pressure is about to explode into breakthrough. I need you to write one word in the comments right now. One word that best describes your current season. Waiting, fighting, hoping, believing. Let your word be a declaration, a stake in the ground that says, I'm still here, God. I'm still listening. I'm still ready. Because chosen one, the build-up isn't just ending, it's about to crescendo into something so magnificent that you'll finally understand why every other door had to close first. But are you prepared for what happens when heaven's perfect timing collides with your earthly reality? From this moment, you have less than 72 hours until Saturday dawns. 72 hours before heaven opens a door that's been locked for decades. Can you feel the weight of that? Can you sense the spiritual gravity building around your life right now? Listen to me, chosen one. Saturday isn't just another weekend morning when you'll wake up to coffee and the newspaper. Saturday is what the Bible calls a kairos moment, when God's eternal timeline intersects with your earthly story, when Chronos time stops and destiny time begins. For months now, you've felt it, haven't you? That restlessness in your spirit, that sense that something monumental is approaching. You've tried to shake it off, tried to call it imagination, but it's grown stronger. That's because your spirit has been detecting what your mind couldn't understand. Saturday has been broadcasting its frequency across the spiritual realm, and your soul has been picking up the signal. But why Saturday? Why would the Almighty mark this specific day for your breakthrough? Let me share with you the first sign that Saturday is divinely marked for you. The sign of sudden clarity. In the past 2 weeks, have you noticed moments of unusual clarity breaking through confusion that's plagued you for years? Suddenly knowing what decision to make, suddenly seeing through people's true intentions, suddenly understanding why certain doors closed in your past. This isn't coincidence. This is heaven downloading wisdom into your spirit in preparation for Saturday's appointment. When God is about to move you into your next season, He first removes the fog from your vision. Isaiah 55:11 declares, "My word shall not return to me void, but it shall accomplish what I please." That clarity you're experiencing, it's God's word taking root in your mind, preparing the soil of your understanding for Saturday's harvest. The enemy has spent years keeping you confused, doubtful, second-guessing every move. But as Saturday approaches, his power to cloud your judgment is breaking. You're thinking clearer than you have in decades, because Saturday requires a clear mind to recognize what God is placing before you. Now, here's something that will shake you to your core. Saturday carries the same spiritual weight as the sixth day of creation, the threshold moment before God's rest, when everything was perfectly positioned for divine completion. Think about this. For 5 days, God had been creating, building, establishing, but on the sixth day, He created man, His masterpiece, His image-bearer, the one who would carry His breath in earthly form. Saturday, for you, is that sixth-day moment. Everything in your life, every trial, every victory, every closed door, every answered prayer has been building toward this culmination. You are standing at the threshold before your breakthroughs rest, before the stress ends, before the struggle ceases, before you can finally exhale and say, "It is finished." But I need to share the second sign with you, and this one might leave you breathless, the sign of divine repositioning. Have you noticed people from your past suddenly reaching out? Old connections resurfacing, new opportunities appearing from nowhere, invitations to places you've never been. This isn't nostalgia or random networking. This is God repositioning the chess pieces of your life for Saturday's checkmate. When Joshua led Israel around Jericho, each day's march looked repetitive, pointless even. The walls stood just as high on day 6 as they did on day 1, but God was positioning them, not just physically, spiritually. Each step was calculated, each circle was intentional, and on the 7th day, when they shouted, those walls didn't just crack, they collapsed completely. Your Saturday is your 7th day shout. The walls that have confined you, the limitations that have held you back, the impossibilities that have mocked your dreams, they're about to collapse, not because you pushed harder, but because you've completed the divine circuit. But here's what most people don't understand about breakthrough moments. They don't require force, they require recognition. When the locks fall open Saturday, you won't have to push your way through. You won't have to fight for position. You won't have to convince anyone of your worth. You'll only have to step forward into what's already been prepared for you. The door isn't stuck, chosen one. It's timed. And Saturday is when the timer reaches 0. But there's a third sign that will confirm beyond any doubt that this message is meant specifically for you, and when I reveal it, you'll understand why you couldn't sleep last night. The sign of supernatural peace. In the midst of life's chaos, have you experienced moments of inexplicable peace lately? Not happiness, peace. Not excitement, deep, abiding calm. As if your spirit knows something your mind hasn't figured out yet. This is the peace that Philippians 4:7 talks about, the peace of God, which surpasses all understanding. This peace isn't random, it's prophetic. It's your spirit receiving advance notice that the storm is almost over, that the waiting is almost finished. That Saturday brings the answer you've been crying out for. But here's the question that should terrify every fiber of doubt left in your being. What if you're not ready? What if Saturday arrives and you're still looking backward instead of forward? What if the very day heaven marked for your elevation becomes the day you miss because you were too afraid to believe it was real? The spiritual weight of Saturday isn't just about what you'll receive, it's about who you'll become. Because when God opens doors that have been sealed for generations, when He elevates you to places you've only dreamed of, when He confirms that every tear you've cried was seed for this harvest, you don't just get blessed, you get transformed. Saturday isn't coming to give you a better version of your current life. Saturday is coming to give you a completely new life altogether. But transformation requires surrender, and surrender requires trust. And trust requires you to stop questioning whether you're worthy and start believing that you're chosen. Are you ready to discover exactly what heaven has been preparing behind those locked doors? Chosen one, I need to tell you something that might cut deep into your soul. For 70, 80, maybe 90 years, you've been carrying a weight that was never meant for your shoulders alone. You've whispered the same prayers into empty rooms until your voice grew hoarse. You've knocked on heaven's door so many times your knuckles are bleeding, wondering if God moved and forgot to leave a forwarding address. Look at your hands right now. Really look at them. Those lines aren't just wrinkles, they're prayer maps. Each one traces a path of desperate conversations with the Almighty. God, heal my marriage. Hot, bring my children home. Hot, let me see provision before I die. How many decades have you been speaking these same words into the darkness? And the silence. Oh, the silence has been deafening, hasn't it? You've sat in doctors' offices receiving reports that made your heart skip beats. You've opened bills you couldn't pay and wondered if this is how your story ends, struggling, forgotten, watching younger generations prosper while you count pennies at the grocery store. You've buried friends, maybe even your spouse, and felt pieces of your soul being lowered into the ground with them. The loneliness hasn't just visited you, it's moved in, set up residence in the empty chair at your kitchen table, in the phone that doesn't ring, in the silence that screams louder than any noise ever could. But here's what breaks my heart most of all. You've started to believe that maybe, just maybe, you missed your window, that God's blessings were for everyone else, and you were somehow left off the list, that your name got lost in heaven's filing system. That is a lie straight from the pit of hell. Job understood this weight. For decades, he was prosperity incarnate, flocks covering the hillsides, children filling his house with laughter, respect flowing from every corner of society. Then, in one day, everything vanished. His children died, his wealth evaporated, his body became a living testament to suffering. His own wife looked at him with disgust and said, "Curse God and die." But Job 13:15 records his response, "Though he slay me, yet will I trust in him," not because he felt like trusting, not because he understood the plan, but because he knew something that sustained him through 42 chapters of agony. God's silence is not God's absence. Think about Nelson Mandela spending 27 years in a prison cell, watching through bars as the world moved on without him. 27 years. Most of his adult life locked away while apartheid raged outside. But those years weren't wasted, they were preparation. When he finally walked free, he didn't emerge as a bitter old man. He emerged as a statesman whose suffering had forged him into exactly what South Africa needed. Right here in New York, I know an 83-year-old widow named Rose. She prayed for her drug-addicted son for 38 years. 38 years of watching him disappear into the streets, of empty chairs at Christmas dinner, of sleepless nights wondering if the next phone call would be from the morgue. Last month he walked into her apartment, fell to his knees, and said, "Mama, I'm ready to come home to God." 38 years of unanswered prayers. Answered. Do you understand what I'm telling you? Your delay isn't your denial. Your silence isn't your sentence. Your test isn't your testimony yet. Because here's what most people don't understand about Saturday's breakthrough. It doesn't come to the comfortable. It doesn't visit the untested. It arrives for those who've been refined in the furnace of seemingly unanswered prayer, who've learned to worship in the waiting room, who've discovered that faith isn't believing God will answer, it's believing God even when He doesn't answer the way you expect. Every tear you've cried has been collected in heaven's bottles. Psalm 56:8 promises this. You have collected all my tears in your bottle. Not some of them, all of them. Every midnight sob, every frustrated prayer, every moment you felt abandoned, God caught every drop. But here's what's going to shake you to your core. Before Saturday's blessing unfolds, many of you will face one final test. A test so specific, so perfectly designed for your breaking point, that it will feel like the enemy is making one last desperate attempt to steal your miracle. It might come as a health scare that arrives just when hope was returning. It could be a financial crisis that hits right when you thought stability was within reach. It might be a relationship that explodes just when reconciliation seemed possible. And in that moment, you'll face the ultimate question. Will you curse God and die, or will you say with Job, though he slay me, yet will I trust in him? This isn't cruelty, beloved. This is confirmation. God tests gold in fire not to destroy it, but to prove its purity. Your final test isn't punishment for your past. It's preparation for your promotion. The question that will determine everything about Saturday is this. When that final test comes, and it's coming, will you recognize it as the last obstacle before your breakthrough? Or will you mistake it for evidence that you've been forgotten? Because what I'm about to reveal next will show you exactly what that test looks like and why passing it is the key that unlocks everything Saturday holds for you. Chosen one, here's the brutal truth nobody wants to tell you. Saturday will arrive whether you're ready or not. But readiness, that's the difference between breakthrough and heartbreak. That's the difference between walking through the door when destiny knocks or watching it close forever. You think God's just going to drop your blessing in your lap while you're sitting there complaining about what didn't work out last month. You think heaven's going to force open doors while you're still carrying grudges from 1987. Listen to me carefully. Saturday requires your participation, your preparation, your positioning. Imagine your dearest friend from childhood showing up at your front door after 20 years. They've traveled 3,000 miles just to see you. They're standing there with the most important news of your life. But you're too busy scrolling through your phone, too distracted by yesterday's disappointments, too wounded by old hurts to even hear the knock. They wait, they knock again. But eventually, they have to leave. That's what's at stake here, beloved. Saturday is heaven knocking on your door, but if you're not positioned to answer, the moment passes. Preparation 1. Clear your schedule. Clear your heart. Saturday isn't just another day for you to jam-pack with errands and obligations. This is your divine appointment. Would you schedule a dentist appointment during your wedding? Would you plan grocery shopping during your graduation? Then why would you treat Saturday like any ordinary day? Cancel the non-essentials. Tell your family this Saturday is sacred. And I don't mean you have to lock yourself in a monastery. I mean you need space to breathe, space to hear, space to receive. Because when God moves, He moves in the margins of our lives, not in the chaos. But here's what's deeper you need to clear your heart too. That resentment you're carrying toward your sister who didn't visit when you were sick. That anger toward the boss who passed you over for promotion 15 years ago. Release it, right now. Because bitterness is the static that blocks heaven's frequency. Let all bitterness and wrath and anger be put away from you. Ephesians 4:31 declares, "Put it away, chosen one." Saturday demands a clean vessel. If you wake up Saturday ready, you won't miss what heaven is handing you. Preparation 2. Position your body for rest. Your body is the temple where miracles land. Would you invite a king into a house with broken windows and no heat? Your physical vessel matters. Get rest Friday night. I'm talking about real rest, not falling asleep to the news, not staying up until 2 a.m. worrying about bills. Go to bed by 10 p.m. Friday. I know that sounds simple, but when was the last time you honored your body enough to give it proper rest before something important? Your spirit receives more clearly when your flesh isn't screaming for attention. And Saturday morning? Don't reach for your phone first thing. Don't check the news. Don't dive into social media. Give your spirit the first hour of that day. Because the first voice you hear on Saturday should be heaven's, not the world's. Preparation 3. Fast something that feeds your flesh. I'm not talking about starving yourself. I'm talking about creating spiritual hunger. Fast from complaining for one full day. Fast from negative news. Fast from gossip. Fast from whatever feeds your lower nature instead of your higher calling. When Jesus fasted for 40 days, it wasn't because he was on a diet. It was because spiritual breakthrough requires spiritual focus. Saturday requires you to be spiritually sharp, not spiritually sluggish. Daniel fasted for 21 days before receiving his greatest revelation. I ate no pleasant bread, Daniel 10:3. What pleasant bread have you been feeding on that's dulling your spiritual appetite? If you wake up Saturday ready, you won't miss what heaven is handing you. Preparation 4. Position your words. Stop speaking defeat over your life. Stop saying nothing ever works out for me. Stop declaring I'm too old for breakthroughs. Stop confessing limitation over your Saturday. Proverbs 18:21 reminds us, death and life are in the power of the tongue. Your words are not just sounds, they're spiritual forces. They're creating the atmosphere you'll walk into on Saturday. Start declaring right now, Saturday is my day. Saturday is my divine appointment. Saturday is when heaven opens doors no man can shut. Speak it until your spirit believes it. Speak it until the atmosphere around you shifts. Preparation 5. Position your expectations. Here's where most people miss it. They're expecting God to move the way he moved last time. But Saturday isn't a repeat performance. Saturday is an original masterpiece. Don't box in your blessing by limiting how you think it should arrive. Maybe you're expecting a phone call, but God's sending a visitor. Maybe you're looking for a job offer, but God's opening a business opportunity. Maybe you're hoping for reconciliation, but God's bringing something completely new. Behold, I will do a new thing. Isaiah 43:19. New, chosen one, not recycled, not repeated, new. Preparation 6. Position your praise. Start thanking God for Saturday before Saturday arrives. Thank him Friday night. Thank him when you wake up Saturday morning. Thank him not because you feel like it, but because faith thanks God before the evidence appears. Abraham didn't wait until Isaac was born to believe God's promise. He believed when Sarah's womb was still barren. That's the praise that moves heaven, the praise that rises before the miracle manifests. Preparation 7. Position your faith. Saturday will test you. Something might not go exactly as you pictured. A delay might happen, a detour might occur. But chosen one, delays are not denials. Detours are not defeats. When the tests come, and they will remind yourself, this Saturday was marked for me before I was born. What God has ordained, no force in hell can cancel. If you wake up Saturday ready, you won't miss what heaven is handing you. Listen to me, beloved. Your lifetime friend is already on their way to your door. The most important conversation of your life is already scheduled. The blessing that will change everything is already en route. But the door won't open itself. You have to turn the handle. Before we go any deeper into what Saturday actually holds for you, I need you to do something. Share this message with one person who needs to hear this before Saturday arrives. Someone who's been waiting, someone who's been discouraged, someone who needs to know their breakthrough is closer than they think. Because when you position yourself for Saturday, Saturday positions itself for you. Listen to me, chosen one. What I'm about to reveal will shatter everything you thought you knew about Saturday. This isn't just another weekend day. This isn't just another 24 hours on your calendar. Saturday is a divine collision point where heaven's timeline intersects with your earthly reality. You see, there are two kinds of time operating in your life right now. There's Chronos time, the ticking of clocks, the turning of calendar pages, the slow march of hours that sometimes feels like prison bars around your dreams. But then there's Kairos time, God's appointed time, when eternity breaks into the natural and impossibilities bow to divine decree. Saturday is your Kairos moment. Do you remember Joseph in that Egyptian prison? For 13 years, 13 long years, he sat in darkness while his dreams seemed to mock him from the shadows. Every sunrise brought the same stone walls, the same iron bars, the same whispered question. God, did you forget what you promised me? But Genesis 41-14 records the moment everything changed. Then Pharaoh sent and called Joseph, and they brought him hastily out of the dungeon. Hastily. In one day, one single day, Joseph went from forgotten prisoner to second in command of the most powerful nation on earth. What changed? The timing. God's Kairos moment had arrived, and your Joseph moment is Saturday. But here's what's going to shock you to your core. The reason your breakthrough has been delayed isn't because God forgot about you. It's because He's been orchestrating a convergence so massive, so perfectly timed, that if it had happened any sooner, you wouldn't have been ready to handle it. Think about the walls of Jericho. For 6 days, the Israelites marched around those massive walls in complete silence. 6 days of the same routine, the same path, the same seemingly impenetrable obstacles. Can you imagine their thoughts? Are we just walking in circles? Has God abandoned us? Maybe Joshua heard wrong. But on the 7th day, on the 7th day, they didn't just march, they shouted. And those walls didn't gradually crumble, they didn't slowly chip away. In one explosive moment, what had stood for generations was completely obliterated. Saturday is your 7th day. You've been walking around your Jericho long enough. That financial struggle that's haunted you for decades. That loneliness that sits in your chest like a stone. That dream that seems too late, too impossible, too far gone. That health battle that's stolen your strength. That family situation that's broken your heart into 1,000 pieces. Saturday is the day your walls come down. But here's what most people don't understand about divine appointments. They don't announce themselves with trumpets and fanfare. They whisper. They slip into ordinary moments disguised as coincidence. A phone call that changes everything. A conversation that opens doors you didn't know existed. A meeting that seems insignificant but carries the weight of eternity. Are you listening? Are you watching? Because Saturday will test whether your spiritual eyes are open or closed. This is why I need you to understand something that might save your destiny. The same day that delivers your breakthrough will also reveal what doesn't belong in your future. When light breaks forth, it doesn't just illuminate the path, it exposes what's been hiding in the shadows. Some relationships may end suddenly. Some opportunities that seemed promising may dissolve. Some doors may close with finality. Don't fight this pruning. It's not punishment, it's preparation. If you hold on to what's meant to go, you'll crowd the space meant for your blessing. Ecclesiastes 3:1 declares, "To everything there is a season, and a time to every purpose under heaven." Your season of barely surviving is ending. Your season of questioning your worth is finished. Your season of walking in circles is over. Saturday begins your season of manifestation. But I need to warn you about something. The enemy knows what time it is. He's been watching the spiritual calendar, and he's terrified. That's why the attacks have been so intense lately. That's why doubt has been screaming louder than faith. That's why everything seems to be falling apart, just when breakthrough should be breaking through. But his time is up. Your time is now. Here's what I need you to do right now. I need you to stand up. Wherever you are, your living room, your kitchen, your bedroom, stand to your feet. Look toward heaven and repeat these words after me. God, I receive Saturday as my divine appointment. I receive every door you're opening. I receive every blessing you're releasing. I reject every lie that says I'm too old, too late, too broken. Saturday is my Kairos moment, and I will not miss it. In Jesus' name. Say it again, louder. Let hell hear your declaration. Let heaven record your faith. Because here's what's about to happen. After Saturday, you will not walk the same path again. You will not carry the same weight. You will not speak the same words of defeat. You will not question your worth the same way. Something fundamental will shift in your spiritual DNA. People will notice the change before you do. They'll ask, "What's different about you?" Your voice will carry new authority. Your presence will command new respect. Your prayers will move mountains that used to mock you. The appointment isn't coming, chosen one. The appointment is here. Saturday is your rendezvous with destiny, and nothing, absolutely nothing, can stop what God has already set in motion. Are you ready to walk through the door when it opens? The sun has set on Saturday, and yet, something in the air has not gone back to normal. Can you feel it? Chosen one, if you're still here with me, if you're still listening, it's because you know that Saturday wasn't an ending, it was an opening. You know that what happened in the spiritual realm over your life didn't close when midnight struck. It began. Look around you right now. Does your living room feel different? Does the silence carry a new weight? Does your own reflection in the mirror seem to hold secrets you're just beginning to understand? That's because you've crossed a threshold. You've stepped through a doorway that doesn't exist in the natural realm. And chosen one, when heaven opens a door for you, it doesn't just crack it open, it tears the veil completely. Think about Moses at the Red Sea. Exodus 14:21 tells us, "The Lord drove the sea back by a strong east wind all night, and made the sea dry land, and the waters were divided." But here's what most people miss after the Israelites walked through. The waters didn't immediately crash back together. They stayed parted. The miracle held its breath, waiting. The waters stayed open because the journey wasn't finished. One miracle was preparing the way for the next. That's where you are right now. Saturday wasn't your Red Sea moment. It was your parting of the waters. The path is open. The way is clear. But now comes the part that separates the chosen from the curious, the called from the comfortable. Now comes the walking. Dear one, I need you to understand something that might shake you to your core. Saturday changed you at a cellular level. I'm not speaking metaphorically. I'm speaking scientifically, spiritually, supernaturally. When heaven marks a day for intervention in your life, it doesn't just rearrange your circumstances, it rewrites your DNA. You are not the same person who woke up Saturday morning. You cannot be. The frequency of your spirit has been adjusted. The calibration of your faith has been upgraded. The operating system of your destiny has been completely reinstalled. But here's the terrifying truth that most people can't handle. With new spiritual capacity comes new spiritual responsibility. The appointment you kept on Saturday, it has evolved into something far more demanding. It has become your assignment. And assignments, unlike appointments, don't have end times. They have completion dates. And your completion date, chosen one, is not when you feel like it. It's not when you're comfortable. It's not when you're ready. It's now. Do you remember what Jesus said in John 9-4? I must work the works of him that sent me, while it is day. The night cometh, when no man can work. The urgency in his voice should terrify you. The Son of God himself understood that divine assignments operate on heaven's timeline, not human convenience. You've been walking around for days now, maybe weeks, feeling different, feeling displaced, like you're wearing clothes that don't quite fit anymore, like you're speaking a language that others suddenly can't understand, like you're seeing colors that have no names. That displacement isn't confusion, beloved. That's confirmation. You're experiencing what I call dimensional drift, when your spirit begins operating in kingdom reality, while your body still lives in Earth's limitations. But here's what's breaking my heart right now. Here's what's keeping me awake at 3 a.m., praying for people just like you. Most people who experience a Saturday, most people who taste what you've tasted, they go back to sleep. They feel the shift. They recognize the change. They know something monumental has happened. But then Monday comes. Tuesday arrives. The ordinary world starts making its demands again. Bills need paying. Groceries need buying. Life needs living. And slowly, quietly, like sand through an hourglass, they let the miracle slip away. They convince themselves they imagined it. They rationalize the supernatural. They explain away the unexplainable until Saturday becomes just another memory, filed away between childhood Christmas mornings and high school graduation. Is that you right now? Are you already feeling the pull to normalize what can never be normal? Are you hearing voices, maybe even from people you love, telling you to get back to reality? Listen to me very carefully. The reality you're being called back to is the illusion. The shift you experienced on Saturday, that's what's real. Isaiah 55:8 declares with thunderous authority, "For my thoughts are not your thoughts, neither are your ways my ways, saith the Lord." When God shifts you, He doesn't shift you back to where you were. He shifts you forward to where you're going. But forward requires movement. Forward demands action. Forward insists on faith that walks even when the path is invisible. The Israelites didn't stand on the shore of the Red Sea taking selfies with the miracle. They walked through it, step by step, mile by mile, with walls of water towering on both sides, held back only by the breath of the Almighty. Your walls of water are still standing, chosen one. The miracle is still active. The path is still open. But it won't stay open forever. Miracles have expiration dates, and yours is approaching faster than you think. So let me ask you the question that will determine whether Saturday was your breakthrough or just another spiritual experience you'll talk about at church. Are you going to walk through, or are you going to walk away? Because the difference between the two isn't just about this moment. It's about the rest of your life. It's about the generations that will follow you. It's about whether your name gets written in the chapter of those who saw the miracle or in the chapter of those who became the miracle. The appointment is over, beloved. The assignment has begun. If you feel that shift still vibrating in your life, if the waters are still parted and the path is still calling your name, comment, "I'm still walking below." Not for me, not for the algorithm, for your own soul. Because when you declare your movement, heaven takes notice. The question that will haunt you or heal you is this: what are you going to do with the door that Saturday opened? Listen carefully, chosen one. What I'm about to reveal will send chills down your spine and confirm what your spirit already knows. In the 48 hours before Saturday arrives, heaven will begin dropping breadcrumbs, not for everyone, not for the casual observer, only for those whose names are written in the book of life for this specific appointment. You think those strange occurrences this week were coincidence? You think that unexpected phone call from someone you haven't heard from in years was random? You think seeing the same numbers repeatedly, 7, 17, 11, 11, 333, was just your imagination playing tricks on you? Dear soul, those weren't accidents. Those were divine markers. Threads of heaven being woven into the tapestry of your story, creating a pattern only the spiritually awakened can recognize. Let me take you back 2,000 years. Luke chapter 2 tells us that on the night Jesus was born, there were shepherds in the fields keeping watch over their flocks. Not kings, not priests, not the religious elite who spent their days studying prophecy. Shepherds, the forgotten ones, the overlooked ones, the ones society had written off. But here's what breaks my heart and should break yours too. While Herod's palace slept in ignorance, while the temple scholars missed the greatest moment in human history, these simple shepherds saw what others couldn't see. And suddenly there was with the angel a multitude of the heavenly host praising God. Why them? Why not the educated? Why not the powerful? Because heaven speaks to those who have learned to listen in the silence. Those who have been broken enough to know that their only hope comes from above. You've been in your own field, haven't you? Watching over what little you had left, feeling forgotten, feeling overlooked, feeling like everyone else got the invitation to the party except you. But what if I told you that your isolation was actually your preparation? What if your silence was your sanctuary where God could speak without interference? Here's what the religious crowd missed then, and what most people are missing now. God doesn't announce his greatest moves with trumpets and fanfare. He whispers them to those who have learned to discern his voice in the wind. Before Saturday fully manifests, you're going to see what I call threads of heaven appearing in your daily life. These are divine confirmations that you're walking toward your appointment, not away from it. Thread number 1. Unexpected reconnections. Someone from your past, maybe a childhood friend, a former co-worker, even a relative you haven't spoken to in years, will reach out. They won't know why they felt compelled to call you. They might even say, "I was just thinking about you." That's not nostalgia, beloved. That's heaven repositioning the chess pieces around your life. Thread number 2. Supernatural clarity in chaos. While others around you seem confused, stressed, overwhelmed by world events, you'll find yourself strangely calm. Not because your problems disappeared, but because your perspective shifted. You'll start seeing solutions where others see dead ends. That's the Holy Spirit downloading divine strategy into your spirit. Thread number 3. Divine interruptions in your routine. You'll be delayed exactly where you need to be delayed. You'll arrive early exactly when you need to arrive early. That traffic jam that should have frustrated you will place you at the right intersection at the right moment to witness something, meet someone, or receive something crucial to your Saturday breakthrough. But here's what will shock you most. The signs won't make complete sense until after Saturday has passed. You'll look back and see how perfectly orchestrated every detail was, how that wrong turn led you to the right destination, how that cancelled appointment opened the door for the divine appointment, how that person who seemed to complicate your life was actually protecting you from something that would have derailed your destiny. The enemy has been watching too, chosen one. He knows Saturday is marked on heaven's calendar. That's why the attacks have intensified. That's why doubt has been screaming louder. That's why it feels like everything is falling apart just when you thought things were getting better. Hell recognizes the signs of divine appointments, and he's terrified of what happens when you step into yours. Right now, someone watching this is remembering something that happened yesterday, or this morning, or even this week that seemed insignificant at the time. Your heart is racing because you're realizing it wasn't insignificant at all. It was a thread of heaven, confirming that Saturday isn't just another day, it's your day. Don't dismiss what you're feeling. Don't rationalize away what your spirit is recognizing. The same God who sent angels to announce his son's birth to forgotten shepherds is sending signs to announce your breakthrough to you. I need you to do something right now. In the comments below, share your thread of heaven. What unusual thing happened this week that made you pause? What unexpected call did you receive? What strange peace came over you in the middle of chaos? Share it, because your testimony might be the confirmation someone else needs to recognize their own divine markers. Remember, the shepherds didn't keep the good news to themselves. Luke 2:17 says, "When they had seen him, they spread the word concerning what had been told them about this child." Your breakthrough isn't just for you, it's a sign to others that God still moves in impossible ways. The threads are being woven, chosen one. Saturday isn't just approaching, it's already begun in the invisible realm. The question is, will you have eyes to see what heaven is showing you? Because what I'm about to reveal next will prove that Saturday isn't just your breakthrough day, it's your resurrection day. Chosen one, I need to tell you something that most preachers won't, something that might shock you. After Saturday comes, something else arrives that nobody talks about. You see, after the trumpet sounds, the battlefield is still there. After the breakthrough comes, the bills are still on your kitchen table. After God moves mountains in your life, You still wake up Monday morning in the same house, looking at the same mirror, wondering if what happened was real. This is the valley after the mountain, and if nobody prepares you for it, it will devastate you. Listen to me carefully. You're about to step into the greatest moment of your life on Saturday. But I would be failing you as your spiritual father if I didn't warn you about what comes next. Because the enemy's most vicious attack doesn't come before your breakthrough, it comes after. David knew this. After he killed Goliath, after the crowds cheered, after King Saul put his arm around him, David still spent years running for his life in caves. The giant was dead, but the giant's brothers were still hunting him. The victory was real, but the war wasn't over. Think about this. When Jesus walked out of that tomb on resurrection morning, when death itself was defeated, when hell's gates were shattered, the disciples still had to face persecution. They still had to endure suffering. They still had to walk through valleys so dark that most of them died as martyrs. The resurrection was real. But Monday still came. Here's what's going to happen to some of you after Saturday, and I need you to brace yourself. You're going to wake up next week, and the enemy is going to whisper, "Did that really happen? Was that just your imagination?" Look around you, nothing's changed. You're still broke, you're still alone, you're still sick. Maybe you just got caught up in the emotion. That's the valley talking. That's the shadow trying to steal what the mountain gave you. But I want you to remember something that will anchor your soul when the whispers come. The God of the mountain is the God of the valley. The God of the mountain is the God of the valley. The God of the mountain is the God of the valley. Let that sink deep into your bones, chosen one. The same God who shows up in your breakthrough is the same God who walks with you through your breakdown. The same power that lifts you to mountain peaks is the same power that sustains you in valley shadows. David understood this when he wrote Psalm 23. "Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for thou art with me." Notice he didn't say, "if I walk through the valley." He said, "though I walk through," because valleys are inevitable. Mountains are gifts, but valleys are guarantees. But here's the mystery that will change everything for you. The valley isn't punishment for leaving the mountain. The valley is preparation for the next mountain. Look at Elijah. This man called down fire from heaven. He humiliated 450 false prophets. He saw God move in ways that defied every law of nature. And then what happened? 1 Kings 19 tells us he ran for his life and sat under a broom tree, begging God to let him die. From supernatural triumph to suicidal despair in 24 hours. Does that sound familiar? Have you ever had a God moment on Sunday and wanted to quit by Tuesday? But here's what Elijah discovered in that cave, and here's what you need to know about your valley. God wasn't in the earthquake. God wasn't in the fire. God wasn't in the wind. God was in the still, small voice. The whisper, the gentle breath that said, "I'm still here. I'm still working. I'm still God." The mountain teaches you God's power, but the valley teaches you God's presence. Saturday will show you what God can do, but the days after Saturday will show you who God is. And chosen one, who he is, matters more than what he does. Because what he does can change your circumstances, but who he is changes you. Now I need to ask you something that might sting. How many times have you mistaken a moment for a lifetime? How many times have you thought one breakthrough meant you'd never face another battle? How many times have you believed that one mountain meant no more valleys? That's not how this works. That's not how any of this works. Moses climbed Mount Sinai and spoke with God face to face. But he still had to come down and deal with rebellious Israelites. Jesus was transfigured on the mountain, radiating with glory. But he still had to come down and head toward Calvary. The mountain is not your destination. The mountain is your fuel station. You don't stay on the mountain. You take the mountain with you into the valley. You carry the memory, the anointing, the confidence, the knowing that God is real and God is good and God is working on your behalf. even when you can't see it, even when you can't feel it, even when circumstances scream the opposite. But here's what most people don't understand about spiritual valleys. They're not detours from your destiny, they're highways to it. Every valley you walk through is taking you closer to your promised land, not farther from it. The Israelites had to walk through the wilderness to get to Canaan. The wilderness wasn't God being mean. The wilderness was God being strategic. Because the people who entered the promised land had to be different from the people who left Egypt. The valley changes you. The valley qualifies you. The valley prepares you for blessings you couldn't handle on the mountain. So when Saturday's fire fades to ember, when the crowd goes home, when the emotion settles and reality sets in, I need you to remember this moment, remember this warning, remember this promise. The God who meets you on Saturday is the same God who will sustain you on Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, and every day after. The valley doesn't mean he left. The valley means he's leading you somewhere that requires everything Saturday deposited in you. But here's the question that will determine whether you survive your valley or get swallowed by it. But chosen one, before Saturday arrives, heaven will test you, not to torment you, but to prepare you. Because what God is about to release into your life is so massive, so life-altering, that you must be refined to receive it. Listen carefully. These aren't random trials. These are divine examinations. And every chosen one who has ever walked into their destiny has faced these exact same 3 tests. The patriarchs faced them, the prophets endured them, and now, it's your turn. The first test, the test of patience. Right now, some of you are screaming inside. You've been waiting so long that your faith feels like a candle flickering in a hurricane. You've prayed until your knees are raw. You've believed until belief itself became a burden, and still nothing. Let me tell you about Abraham. God promised him a son when he was 75 years old. 75. But Isaac didn't arrive until Abraham was 100. 25 years of waiting. 25 years of Sarah's empty womb mocking God's promise. 25 years of people whispering, "Maybe you heard wrong, Abraham." But here's what breaks my heart about your situation. You think the silence means God has forgotten you. You think the delay means denial. But Abraham's 25 years weren't punishment. They were preparation. God wasn't teaching Abraham to wait. He was teaching him to trust when waiting made no sense. Why would God make a 90-year-old woman give birth? Because he wanted the world to know beyond any shadow of doubt this miracle came from heaven, not human effort. Your long wait isn't God being cruel. It's God ensuring that when your breakthrough comes, no one will be able to steal his glory. You've been in the waiting room so long you've forgotten. You're not the patient, you're the miracle being prepared for delivery. The test of discernment. But here's where it gets dangerous, dear one. As Saturday approaches, doors will start opening. But not every open door is God's door. Some are traps disguised as blessings. Some are detours designed to derail your destiny. Nehemiah knew this. When he was rebuilding the walls of Jerusalem, his enemies Sanballat and Tobiah sent him invitation after invitation. "Come, let us meet together." It sounded reasonable. It looked like an opportunity. But Nehemiah discerned the deception. He said, "I am doing a great work and cannot come down." How many of you have almost blown your breakthrough by saying yes to the wrong thing? How many times have you been so desperate for any door to open that you walked through doors that led to dead ends? Here's the brutal truth. The enemy's greatest weapon isn't a closed door. It's a door that opens at the wrong time, to the wrong place, with the wrong people. He knows if he can get you to settle for good, you'll never reach God's best. But how do you know the difference? How do you discern between heaven's invitation and hell's imitation? Peace. God's doors come with unexplainable peace, even when they look impossible. The enemy's doors come with pressure, urgency, and the nagging feeling that you have to make it work through your own effort. The test of perseverance. And then comes the cruelest test of all, the test of perseverance. This is when the initial excitement of your calling fades, and you're left with the grinding reality of staying faithful when no one is watching. Paul understood this. In Philippians 1:13-14, he wrote from a Roman prison cell, "It has become clear throughout the whole palace guard and to everyone else that I am in chains for Christ. And because of my chains, most of the brothers and sisters have become confident in the Lord and dare to speak the word more courageously." Paul didn't write that from a platform. He wrote it from a prison. He didn't minister from comfort. He ministered from chains. The very thing that looked like the end of his ministry became the catalyst for its greatest expansion. Some of you are in your prison season right now. Your health is failing. Your finances are crumbling. Your family doesn't understand your calling. And you're wondering if you heard God correctly. You're questioning whether you're really chosen or just delusional. Let me shock you with truth. Your prison isn't your punishment. It's your promotion. Paul's greatest epistles were written from jail cells. Joseph's throne came after the pit. David's kingdom came after the cave. Your Saturday breakthrough is coming after your Friday burial. But here's what separates those who reach their destiny from those who quit 3 feet from gold: perseverance when the feeling fades, when the crowds disappear, when the excitement dies, when it's just you, God, and the assignment that nobody else understands. The question that will determine whether you walk into Saturday's breakthrough or watch it pass you by is this: which test are you in right now? I need you to stop everything you're doing and write in the comments below. Are you in the test of patience, fighting to believe when nothing seems to move? Are you in the test of discernment, trying to distinguish between God's doors and the enemy's distractions? Or are you in the test of perseverance, grinding through the lonely middle where your calling feels more like a burden than a blessing? Write it now. Don't think about it. Let your spirit respond, because when you name the test, you claim the victory that's on the other side of it. These tests aren't meant to break you, chosen one. They're meant to prove you're unbreakable. And when Saturday arrives, you'll understand why every trial was worth it. Listen to me, chosen one. I need to tell you something that's going to shake you to your very core, something that will change how you see Saturday and every day after it. You've been living for the wrong applause. For 70, 80, maybe 90 years, you've been measuring your worth by the cheers of people who forget your name the moment you leave the room. You've been seeking approval from crowds that scatter like leaves in the wind. You've been chasing recognition from a world that will erase your memory before your body is even cold in the ground. But what if I told you there's an audience you've never considered? What if I told you there's a standing ovation waiting for you that will never end? The Apostle Paul knew this secret. In his final letter, with chains on his wrists and death breathing down his neck, he wrote these earth-shattering words in 2 Timothy chapter 4, verse 8. "Henceforth there is laid up for me a crown of righteousness, which the Lord, the righteous judge, shall give me at that day." Did you catch that? Paul wasn't looking for a trophy case on earth. He was banking on a crown in eternity. But here's what breaks my heart about your generation. You've been told to settle for social security checks and early bird specials when heaven has been preparing a coronation. You've been convinced that your best days are behind you, when God is saying your crowning moment is still ahead. Saturday isn't just about what happens in your living room, at your kitchen table, or in your doctor's office. Saturday is your dress rehearsal for the day you walk into the throne room of the Almighty and hear words that will echo through eternity. "Well done, good and faithful servant." The crowd that matters isn't at your family reunion. It's not at your church social. It's not even at your funeral where people will say nice things and then go home to dinner. The crowd that matters is the great cloud of witnesses. Your mother who went home to glory 30 years ago, she's cheering. Your father who fought in wars, you'll never understand, he's standing. Your friends who've crossed over, they're all leaning forward, watching, waiting for the moment when you finally understand what Saturday really means. Crowds cheer and fade, beloved, but crowns are forever. Do you know what happens in heaven when one of God's chosen ones finally gets it? When they finally see past the temporary applause to the eternal ovation. Revelation chapter 4 gives us a glimpse. The 24 elders fall down before him that sat on the throne, and worship him that liveth forever and ever, and cast their crowns before the throne. But here's the shocking truth they don't tell you in Sunday school. Those elders aren't just throwing their crowns away. They're receiving new ones, better ones, brighter ones. Because in heaven's economy, the more you give, the more you receive. The more you honor God, the more He honors you. Saturday is your invitation to stop playing for the bleachers and start performing for the balcony of heaven. But let me ask you something that might sting. How many years have you wasted trying to impress people who were never supposed to crown you? How many decades have you spent seeking validation from voices that were never meant to define you? How many opportunities have you missed because you were looking for approval from the wrong audience? The truth is, chosen one, you've been performing in the wrong theater. You've been seeking applause from people who will be dust, while angels who witnessed the creation of the universe are waiting to celebrate your obedience. When Jesus walked this earth, He could have played to the crowds. He could have stayed in Jerusalem, where the religious elite would stroke His ego. He could have avoided the cross and kept the temporary cheers going. But He knew something the crowd didn't know. There was a crown waiting that no earthly applause could match. And on Saturday, when heaven opens that door for you, when the invitation comes not from man, but from the Almighty Himself, you'll understand why every earthly rejection was actually divine protection. You'll see why every closed door was actually God saving you from settling for bronze when He had gold waiting. Picture this moment with me. Saturday comes and goes. The breakthrough happens. The door opens. Your life shifts. But months later, as you're walking in your newfound purpose, something incredible happens. You stop caring about who notices. You stop counting likes and comments and phone calls. You stop measuring your worth by who invites you to dinner, because you've tasted what it feels like to have heaven's approval. And once you've heard God say yes to your life, every human no becomes irrelevant. But here's the urgency burning in my spirit right now. Time is running out, not just for Saturday. Time is running out for you to shift your focus from temporal applause to eternal approval. Every day you waste seeking the wrong kind of recognition is a day stolen from the crown God is preparing for you. The question that will determine your destiny isn't whether people will remember you when you're gone. The question is, will you remember who you really are before it's too late to live like it? Saturday is coming, chosen one. And when it arrives, will you be ready to trade the fleeting cheers of earth for the eternal standing ovation of heaven? Because the crown beyond the crowd is waiting, and it has your name written on it in gold that will never tarnish. Chosen one, Saturday isn't just about you. And if you think God marked this day on His calendar just to bless your bank account or heal your body, you're thinking too small, way too small. Saturday is the day God plants an orchard in your bloodline. Not just a single tree that bears fruit for one season, but an entire orchard that will feed your children, your grandchildren, and generations you'll never meet. But here's the devastating truth that's breaking my heart right now. How many of your ancestors went to their graves carrying unfulfilled promises? How many of your grandparents died with dreams locked inside their chests because they never understood the power of their assignment? How many blessings died with them because they thought their moment had passed? You think about that for a moment. Your grandmother, that sweet woman who prayed over you as a child, what dreams did she carry to her grave? What callings did she never step into because someone told her she was just a woman or just a housewife? What world-changing prayers died in her heart because she believed the lie that ordinary people don't get extraordinary assignments? Your grandfather, that man who worked his fingers to the bone, who sacrificed his body for your family's survival. What kingdom purposes burned in his spirit that he never had the courage to pursue? What businesses were never started? What ministries were never launched? What communities were never transformed because he believed he was just a laborer? The enemy has been running a generational con game on your family line. He's convinced every generation that their time was up, their season was over, their moment had passed. But what if I told you that every unfulfilled dream in your bloodline has been accumulating interest in heaven's bank? What if every prayer your ancestors whispered in secret has been building towards Saturday? Ecclesiastes 3:1 declares, "To everything there is a season, and a time to every purpose under heaven." But here's what most people miss. Some purposes skip generations. Some callings lie dormant for decades, waiting for the right vessel, the right heart, the right moment to be born. You are that vessel. Saturday is that moment. Abraham was 75 when God called him to father nations. Sarah was 90 when she birthed the impossible. Moses was 80 when he delivered 2 million people from slavery. God doesn't operate on retirement schedules. He operates on kingdom timing. And your kingdom timing is Saturday. But listen to me carefully. What happens to you on Saturday will either echo through your family tree for generations, or it will die with you if you don't understand your assignment. God isn't just breaking chains off your life. He's breaking generational limitations off your entire bloodline. The poverty that has stalked your family for decades, the addiction that has claimed relative after relative, the depression that has whispered defeat into every generation. Saturday is the day those curses meet their expiration date. But only if you understand that this breakthrough isn't your finish line, it's your starting line. Think about Moses at the Red Sea. 2 million people behind him, the Egyptian army charging forward, certain death on every side. But when God parted those waters, Moses didn't just save himself, he saved every generation that would come after him. One man's obedience became a nation's freedom. Your obedience on Saturday will become your family's freedom. Here's what I need you to understand about legacy. It's not about what you accumulate, it's about what you activate. Your children don't need your money as much as they need your testimony. Your grandchildren don't need your possessions as much as they need your prayers. The world doesn't need another person who got blessed and stayed quiet. The world needs someone who got blessed and started speaking life into dead situations. Saturday will give you a story. But stories without voices become graves. If you experience breakthrough and keep it to yourself, you rob your lineage of the very weapon they'll need for their battles. I'm talking to the grandmother whose granddaughter is struggling with depression. After Saturday, you won't just pray for her, you'll prophesy over her. You'll speak with the authority of someone who has seen God move impossible mountains. I'm talking to the grandfather whose grandson is lost in addiction. After Saturday, you won't just worry about him, you'll wage war for him with weapons forged in your own deliverance. This is why Saturday required so much preparation. This is why your life has been so difficult. God wasn't just building your character, He was building your credibility. Every scar on your soul is evidence that you've been where hell tried to drag your family. Every victory in your past is proof that the same God who delivered you can deliver them. But here's the urgency that should grip your heart. Some of them are running out of time. That granddaughter contemplating suicide, that son drowning in debt, that daughter whose marriage is falling apart. They don't need your advice, they need your authority. They need to hear from someone who carries the fragrance of Saturday's breakthrough. Proverbs 13:22 declares, "A good man leaveth an inheritance to his children's children." But the greatest inheritance isn't money, it's momentum. It's the spiritual momentum that carries breakthrough from generation to generation. After Saturday, I need you to call one younger person in your family, not to catch up on gossip, not to ask how they're doing, but to speak life into them with the fresh anointing of what God just did in your life. Tell them what you learned, share what you received, plant seeds from your Saturday orchard into their soil. Because chosen one, your Saturday isn't the end of God's plan, it's the beginning of His legacy through you. But will you plant the orchard, or will you hoard the fruit? Chosen one, as we reach the end of this sacred encounter, I need you to carry these truths with you like precious jewels in your heart. Remember this: Saturday isn't just another day on your calendar, it's your divine appointment with destiny. You are not too old, not too late, not too forgotten. The same God who parted the Red Sea for Moses at 80, who opened Sarah's womb at 90, who called Samuel in the midnight hour, is still moving in your life right now. Your breakthrough isn't coming someday, it's coming Saturday. Remember that what happens to you on Saturday will echo through generations. You're not just receiving a blessing, you're planting an orchard that will feed your children's children. Your testimony will become their weapon, your victory will become their inheritance, and your Saturday will become their starting point. But more than anything, remember this: you are never walking this journey alone. Even when the silence feels deafening, even when the wait feels endless, even when doubt whispers lies in your ear, the Creator of the universe is orchestrating every detail of your life. He's moving mountains you can't see, opening doors you haven't found yet, and preparing blessings you can't even imagine. And right here, in this community of believers, you have thousands of brothers and sisters who understand your struggles, who believe in your calling, and who are ready to stand with you in prayer. We're not just viewers on a screen, we're a family, united by faith, connected by hope, and bound together by the love of Christ. Let me ask you this final question. Now that you know Saturday is marked for you, now that you understand the legacy assignment resting on your shoulders, how will you prepare your heart for what's coming? Will you step into Saturday with doubt, or will you walk forward with the confidence of someone whose name is written in heaven's calendar? Before I release you into your destiny, I want you to close your eyes and let me pray over you. Right now, wherever you are, I want you to feel these words wash over your spirit like healing oil. Heavenly Father, I lift up every precious soul who has walked this journey with me today. Lord, you see their hearts. You know their struggles. You've counted every tear they've cried in the midnight hours. But Father, you also see their Saturday. You see the breakthrough that's coming. You see the legacy that's about to be born through their obedience. God, I pray that you would silence every voice of doubt that whispers you're too old or you've missed your chance. I pray that you would break every chain of generational limitation that has held their family captive. I pray that you would open their eyes to see the doors you're already opening, the opportunities you're already creating, the miracles you're already setting in motion. Father, place your mighty hand upon their shoulders right now. Let them feel your presence like a warm embrace. Where they feel weak, make them strong. Where they feel forgotten, remind them they are chosen. Where they feel afraid, fill them with supernatural courage. Lord, bless their Saturday. Let it be everything you've promised and more than they've dared to dream. Give them the wisdom to recognize their moment when it comes, the boldness to step through doors when they open, and the grace to carry their breakthrough with humility and purpose. And Father, use their testimony to set others free. Let their Saturday become a beacon of hope for every person who thinks their time has passed. Let their legacy assignment ripple through generations, breaking curses and establishing blessings for children yet to be born. In Jesus' mighty name, I pray. Amen. Now I want to hear from you. In the comments below, share how this message has stirred your heart. What are you believing God for this Saturday? What legacy assignment is burning in your spirit? Don't hold back, your testimony might be exactly what someone else needs to hear. If you're ready for Saturday, type "I'm ready" in the comments. If you believe God is about to move in your life, type Saturday breakthrough. And if you know someone who needs to hear this message, someone who's been feeling forgotten or left behind, please share this video with them. Let them know they're not alone in their waiting. Before we close, I want to thank every single one of you who stayed with me through this entire message. Your time is precious, and you chose to invest it in seeking God's heart for your life. That tells me everything I need to know about your character and your calling. If this is your first time here, welcome to the family. Hit that subscribe button and join thousands of believers who gather here regularly to be encouraged, equipped, and empowered for kingdom living. We're building something beautiful together, a community where faith grows, hope is restored, and destinies are fulfilled. Remember, chosen one, Saturday is coming. Your legacy assignment is waiting, and the God who has brought you this far will not leave you now. Until we meet again, walk in the confidence of who you are, marked, chosen, and destined for greatness. God bless you, mighty warrior. Your Saturday breakthrough starts now.